All right, we are going to set up Photoshop's interface. And the reason why we're going to do this is so that your interface will work like my interface when I'm demonstrating Photoshop techniques. Now, there are a lot of different videos in this course, and some of them are a couple of years old and some of them were made last year. And Photoshop has changed. The interface has changed over that time. So your interface might not look exactly like the interface and might not function exactly like the interface does on some of those previous videos. So you're just going to have to figure some of those things out. But for this course this year, we are going to work in Photoshop 2022. And so that everything works well, we're going to set up our interface to be the same so that when you follow along, everything looks the same. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that Photoshop is not running. And we are going to start Photoshop while we are holding down the Shift Option Command key on the Mac or the Shift Alt Control key on the PC. So I'm on the Mac. I'm going to go down to my dock. And you'll notice there is Photoshop right there. And I am going to hold down on my keyboard the Shift Option Command key all at the same time. I'm holding it down. I'm going to click on the Photoshop icon and keep holding those down until I see this window that says delete the Adobe Photoshop settings file. And I want to do that. I want to say yes. And that will reset Adobe Photoshop to right out of the box. And so your Adobe Photoshop will look pretty much just like mine when we start. Now, after we've set it up like this, we are going to change a couple of the default settings to work better, or at least work the way we want to work in this class. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the File menu and choose New. And when we choose New, we're going to choose the Print section at the top menu, and then we are going to double click on this letter icon, and that just gives us a page. And the reason why we want to do that is because when we have a page, or I should say it's actually a canvas, the reason why we want to have a canvas here is so that we have access to certain features and functions in the menu and over here in the palettes. So anyway, I have this canvas, this letter size canvas showing. And then the next thing I want to do is choose the Move tool. That's this first tool at the top here. I'm going to choose the Move tool from the toolbar. And then up here where it says Auto Select, up at the top left-hand corner, this is called the Options bar, by the way. In the top left-hand corner of the Options bar, I'm going to deselect the check mark for Auto Select. We don't want that going on while we do our Photoshop work. Next, I'm going to go back to the toolbar and I'm going to choose the eyedropper tool. When I choose the eyedropper tool, I'm going to come back up here to where it says sample size. And instead of point sample, I'm going to choose 5x5 average. Then I'm going to come over here on the right side to the color palette. These are all palettes, and you can see that they have tabs. There'll be more on this later. And I'm going to double click on the color palette tab, click, click, and you'll notice I just closed it up. That's just to give me some more space. And then take a look down here in the layers palette. I'm going to move my pointer down in this gray area underneath the background menu, the background layer, and I'm going to right click. And when I right click, a flyout menu comes up, and I'm going to choose medium thumbnails. That just makes these thumbnails, these small little visual representations of what's in your Photoshop document, it just makes those a little bit bigger. So I've now got this set up the way I want it to be set up, and hopefully you've got yours set up the same way. Now the thing is if we start moving things around, all of a sudden our workspace gets all whacked out. So we want to be able to get back to this workspace anytime. The way to do that is first save the workspace. So I'm going to go up to the window menu, and where it says Workspace, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to move down to New Workspace. Sorry, move down to New Workspace, choose that, and then I'm going to name it. Name it whatever you want. I'll name it Steve's Cool. No, I'll name it Steve's Class Workspace. All right, you can name it whatever you want, just as long as you know what it is, and I'm going to save it. Now, you'll notice in my Windows menu, Workspace, Steve's Class Workspace is selected, and it's available to me at any time. So what happens is if I want to go to a new workspace, let's say I go to Painting Workspace, and you'll notice it's all different, and I ever want to get back to my Steve's Class Workspace, I just go back up here, over to Workspace, choose Steve's Class Workspace, and there we go. Now also what happens is while we're working, we can end up moving some of these palettes around and all sorts of things like that, and it gets really messed up. In order to get it back, I go back up to Window, Workspace, and I just choose Steve's Class Workspace. I click on it, nothing happens because I'm already in Steve's Class Workspace. I've just moved these palettes around. Instead, I've got to go to Workspace, and I come down here to reset Steve's Class Workspace. I go ahead and choose that, and then everything gets set back to normal again. So this is where we want to be, and we're going to be working in this workspace from this point forward, at least in the videos that I create this semester. So hopefully you've got it all set up. One last thing I want to point out is that there is a lot of help information available to you within this Photoshop program. To access it, go to Help, Photoshop Help, and what will happen is you'll see this Discover window, and this Discover window has all sorts of really cool things. Notice especially you can see lots of tutorials, and I encourage you, if you're trying to figure something out, to take a look at some of the tutorials. You also have search abilities here, so if you're trying to figure out what a layer mask is, then you can do that and you can get some information about how to make a layer mask or something like that. So this is a very, very beneficial section. It's called Discover. It's a very, very beneficial section of Photoshop. And if you want more information on how to use it, click down here on the gear and you can see how to use, and it'll explain to you how to use this Discover window. Anyway, use that, and of course use searching on YouTube and Google to learn more Photoshop tricks and techniques. That's it for this video, and I hope you enjoy the course.